Hey everybody, what's up? Today we're going to be looking at Joseph. Joseph is just kind of a ridiculous elite. He's got a lot going on, and he's one of those champs that if you look at his kit, you might think it looks kind of decent, but also it might not seem very exciting to you. But he's one of those that just, I can't state his value enough. I can't over exaggerate how useful he is, honestly. He is part of a team that I use that can auto Void Tower normal every stage. We just did Void Tower 100, actually. I've got a video coming up on that soon. He's pretty essential in Ash, helping us get through Ash. For those of you that don't know, I have this account that is elites only. I'm only using elites and below. And he's a really important part of our progress lately. So I wanted to do a guide and talk about him, because if you are struggling to have some good support or a good buffer or a good cleanser, maybe you don't have the Mathasia or something like that. He's fantastic. And again, he fits into Ash really well, and he's fit into my Void Tower comp very well. I now have a team that can auto from 1 through 100. I don't have to touch Void Tower now, and he's a big part of why that's possible. So let's come over and talk about his stats and skills and everything. He's a CBCBC, and basically all you really want on this dude earlier in the game is health and a little bit of speed. And speed's pretty easy to hit because of his trait, and we'll get to that in a second. But that's really all you got to focus on. You can go defense if you want, but in my experience, HP seems to do better than defense on these champs. Unless someone has damage that scales off defense like Charles, I tend to want to go HP instead of defense for tankiness. It just seems to work out better for me that way. But you could certainly go defense if you're struggling to get a bunch of HP on him. But really HP and then a little bit of speed. So in his trait, he's got 20% speed when he's ascended. So right off the bat, he's getting an extra 20% speed before you even put a piece of gear on him. So that's pretty handy, right? On his A1, he deals damage and grants speed up to the ally with the highest attack. This is kind of a good budget way to sneak a damage dealer up into getting a turn before they ordinarily would. Before I had some speed on my Zachary, this was one way that was possible to bump Zachary up in the turn queue so he could get a turn a little bit sooner. I just use Shield Guard Orc now, but this is one way to do it. And otherwise, it's still just pretty handy, right? If for some reason you have someone with high attack that is going after the enemies, this can help bring them up in the queue, so that's pretty nice. Here's the skill that really makes him crazy. This is his special. If you'll notice, skilled up, it's on a 2-turn cooldown, removes all negative effects from the target, and if successful, grants the target a bonus turn. So he cleanses every debuff from whoever this targets. If there's one debuff to cleanse, they get a bonus turn that round. This is on a 2-turn cooldown. This is unreal. This is so strong for an elite champ, it feels like. It almost might as well be an AoE cleanse. As frequently as this comes around, especially if he uses it on himself, because if he's got the most debuffs, he'll use it on himself. In my experience, it seems like he targets whoever has the most debuffs on them. So if it's him, he'll do it, give himself a bonus turn. After his bonus turn, this skill's ready again. It's insane how quickly this rolls around. It is so crucial. And again, you see why he's so good for Ash, right? Ash puts up bombs that go on a 3-turn cooldown. This is on a 2-turn cooldown. The bomb will never detonate if you have Joseph on your team and Ash. So insane. Such a good skill. So effective everywhere. And then on his ult, that's on a 4-turn cooldown, he puts attack up and defense up on all team members for 3 turns. So 3-turn buffs on a 4-turn cooldown, and it's attack up and defense up. So you're increasing everybody's survivability, you're increasing everyone's damage output, and if you have any champs like Charles that are benefiting from that defense up as far as damage, you're buffing their damage too. So you're covering all your bases with one ult, and they go up for 3 turns. That's a long time, right? So we've got solid buffs on the ult on that last 3 turns. We've got an insane cleanse on a 2-turn cooldown with a bonus turn mechanic, which is really handy. And then the A1 that drops the speed up on whoever has the highest attack. So again, very simple. And you might look at it and think, that seems pretty good. When you see it in action, when you use it, and you feel how effective it is, it's going to blow you away. He is such a strong support character. To not have any heals, he is such a strong support. So let's talk about his gear now. As far as gear goes, you'll see I've got him on double Terra and Raider. again, you just want to shoot his HP and his speed up a little bit. We went speed. Oh, no, we went HP as main stat on the boot. HP. I forgot I swapped him around, I think, recently. And the reason that it's easier to do that with just the Raider set is because he's got that trait that gives him 20% bonus speed. So you don't have to go speed on the boots really to make him still pretty fast, right? He's still one of the faster members on most of my teams, and I didn't even have to go speed boots to make that happen. And in your substats, you're looking for a lot of the same, right? HP percentage and speed, anywhere that it's possible, is ideal. If you're wanting to try to use him a little bit later in the game, maybe as you're creeping up in PvP or getting a little bit deeper in the game, you might want to think about agility and resistance, right? You want to avoid him maybe getting controlled if there's any control debuffs that you have to worry about, and agility will just make him a little bit harder to hit. But for earlier in the game, HP, mostly HP, little bit of speed, and that's it. You don't need attack stats on him. You don't need crit stats. You don't need focus. You don't need precision. A very, very easy champ to build, and for the trade-off for effort to build versus his effectiveness, it doesn't get much better than this, right? He is such a killer champ, and that's pretty much it. We'll go over and I'll show you a couple of runs. I've got some footage of him in Ash. Again, he's the reason that we've progressed as far as we have in Ash. He's part of a Void Tower team, which I'll have a video up on soon, and you can see him in action there if you want to as well. But I'll show you what he looks like in Ash. You can see him cleansing the bomb and get a feel for what it looks like. And just apply that to everywhere. He's doing the same thing everywhere, and he's doing it incredibly effectively. So insane champ, can literally put him on any team and have him be pretty impactful. He even helps your guild boss numbers a little bit. Before I had settled on a team that I'm using now, I slotted him in and got a new personal best one time, because the speed up he's throwing and the buffs he's throwing and then the cleanses and bonus turns are helping us, you know, he's good. He's good everywhere. So let's hop over now and take a look at him in Ash. So there you have it. You see how effective he is. The bomb is just a non-issue in Ash with Joseph on the team. So I would show you what he looks like in other places, but you get the idea, right? He's not very complicated. He's not doing a ton of different things that you would need to see in different places. You get the idea. I think that's the perfect example of how effective he is. And again, if you want to see a little bit more of him, I've got that Void Tower video that'll go up soon, and you can check that out. But he's an insane support, and I think especially if you're hurting for a good buffer or a good cleanser, maybe you don't have the, you know, copy paste team for Ash that is kind of mandatory to do the higher levels right now. He's a great option that is not really that hard to come by at least to help you sort out that bomb so you can work on building around him to get your damage and the rest of the things that you need. But if you need someone to sort out that bomb for you, Joseph's your dude. So I hope I helped you. I hope I answered any questions, persuaded you to build him perhaps, because he's well worth your resources. Fantastic champ. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get out of here for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.